What books do you read? I read fiction books. I read non-fiction books. I read mystery books. I read romance books. I read thriller books. I read fantasy books. I read science fiction books. I read biographies. I read self-help books. I read history books. I read poetry. I read graphic novels. I read classics. I read essays. I read drama. I read dystopian novels. I read travel books. I read cookbooks. I read art books. I read motivational books. I read business books. I read science books. I read philosophy books. I read educational books. I read mindfulness books. I read religion books. I read gardening books. I read health and wellness books. Please subscribe to my channel.